So welcome everybody to Friday, January 7th, 2022. Wow. Where'd these 22 years of the third millennium go? Oh my. Today we are talking about allowing as a quality of equanimity, and we'll be exploring it mostly through practice. But I want to remind everybody that equanimity is love that allows. And equanimity is an antidote for partiality. And so let's begin today by looking at this subject of partiality. I'd like to invite you to begin by reflecting on some of the ways that you show up in life. What are your underlying beliefs, preferences, and attitudes? For example, one of my underlying beliefs is how human beings as a whole have evolved over time, how consciousness keeps expanding, how our capacity for awakening keeps unfolding. Another underlying belief I have is captured in this reference we make again and again to the four conditions of being human that are beyond our control, and what happens next is up to us. A third underlying belief that I have is that the last place I want to be is in a situation that is chaotic, where emotions are running a little bit edgy, where the situation doesn't seem to be under control. So those are some examples, and yours will surely be different from mine. But let's take a few moments and reflect on what some of your underlying beliefs are. What are some of the underlying attitudes that are present when you show up in life? See if you can name 3 or 4. You might even want to make a note or 2 about them. And as you're thinking about these underlying beliefs, preferences, attitudes, you might begin to appreciate how these are your partialities. They're part of you. They're what you are a part of. This is what we mean when we talk about partialities in equanimity. And you might note which of these underlying beliefs or attitudes that you've named tend to be connecting you to life, to other people, and in that way likely to be skillful. And which of these partialities tend to be disconnecting, unskillful? This is just a little bit of a taste of this area at the moment. We'll continue to work with it as we go along, but you don't have to get it all figured out right away. So we're going to go directly from here to a practice and give us the opportunity to work with this territory a bit. So beginning by taking a couple of deep breaths and letting go of whatever extra energy or tension might have built up in this little exercise about exploring underlying beliefs. And then following your own practice for how you settle in. Finding a posture in the surface you're sitting on that your body appreciates. Letting go, settling in. Allowing your attention to gather in this place and in this moment. Allowing your attention to turn toward your breathing. Especially paying attention to where the act of breathing shows up in your body. Directing your attention there. Fully embodying the experience of breathing. It's a physical experience. It's not a mental experience. Being completely in your body with the process of breathing. And now bringing to mind one of the beliefs, one of your underlying beliefs or attitudes that you named a few moments ago. And recalling a recent experience when that belief was prominent in a difficult, disconnecting way that caused some reactivity on your part. Focusing on the specifics. What was happening? Who was present? What was said? And in recalling this difficult interaction, noticing what thoughts and emotions are now arising for you. Noticing if there's any judgment on your part about these thoughts and emotions that are arising. If there's any inclination to criticize yourself. To want to get these thoughts and emotions under control, to fix them, to change them. Just noticing that inclination. It's pretty typical for all of us to have judgmental thoughts and emotions when we're recalling a difficult interaction or experience. Oh, I could have done this. I should have done that. How could I let that happen? And in this stew of judgment, noticing the bodily sensations that are present. Are they pleasant, unpleasant, or neither? Sometimes these judgmental thoughts and emotions and how we react to them can leave us feeling attacked. Self-criticism is a way of attacking ourselves. It can make us feel constricted mentally and emotionally. When we feel constricted, there's a sense of scarcity. Research shows that that scarcity is real, that we're losing our basic capacities. They've been undermined. And now taking a couple of deep breaths with especially long, slow out breaths, allowing this tension, this sense of constrictedness, feeling attacked, judgment, to flow out of your body. Sometimes I can actually feel it flowing out down my arms, out my fingertips. And as you continue to breathe, allowing your awareness to expand on each in-breath. Expanding your awareness from just inside to incorporate the surface you're sitting on. The room you're sitting in. And in this expanded awareness, we can become observers of what's going on. We can be observers of our thoughts and our emotions and of our inclination to judge them. As observers, we're seeing from a distance. There's a sense of spaciousness. And with this sense of spaciousness, we can simply allow whatever is happening. Allowing and letting go. Being the observer with a sense of space. And again, noticing what bodily sensations are present now. Pleasant? Unpleasant? Neither. And with this spaciousness, we can do a little investigating. Perhaps understanding how our partiality is a result of our conditioning interacting with impermanence. Or taking something much more personally than it was intended to be. With this spaciousness, we're accepting, we're allowing, we're substituting awareness for judgment. We're changing our relationship to our conditioning, to external circumstances and their interaction. We're changing from being controlled by our reactivity to being an observer, to allowing it, to having a deep awareness of it. And offering yourself a few words of kindness for being present with this experience. As we come back to our screens and this Zoom experience, just taking a couple more moments to pay attention to what's going on inside. Take a deep breath. Be kind to ourselves. This is not an easy experience. And yet it's such a useful practice. Here's the reflection question for this morning. How are your thoughts and actions different when you're in allowing mode versus when you're in self-judgment and constricted mode? How are your thoughts and actions different when you're in allowing mode versus self-judgment in constricted mode?